Welcome to my Days of Our Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Nicole overhears EJ's DNA results rant. Harris and Ava find blood clue. Days of Our Lives, DOOL. Spoilers recap for Wednesday, May 8th, reveals that Ava Vitale, Tamara Braun, served Holly Jonas, Ashley Puzimis, and Sophia Choi, Madeline Keentz, at the cantina. Before joining a frustrated Harris Michaels, Steve Burton, upstairs. Harris couldn't crack the law in Gil Carter's, David's Lee, Black Book, but he transferred the translated train to an old Cortege chum in expedience of learning further. Ava got a call from Clyde Weston, James Reed, and stalled him by pretending she hadn't set up the Black Book yet. Clyde gave Ava 48 further hours and instructed her to telegraph the scrutinized runners before destroying the book. Once Ava disconnected and gave Harris updates, he lashed out since they couldn't take Clyde back into guardianship if there was no meetup. Harris decided that perhaps they could tag the runner Prince and trace the IP address of Clyde's position. Latterly, Ava noticed Commodity Sticky was on the Black Book, so Harris audited it and discovered that it was blood. Back with Sophia, she talked to Holly about Hop and said she wanted to take Tate Black, Leo Howard. Sophia formally again checked to make sure Holly was completely over Tate, so Holly prevaricated that she was. In the domain on Wednesday's day's occasion, Aaron, Louis Tomeo, gave Tate some football pointers as they tossed the ball around. Aaron also admitted he wanted to take Sophia to Hop, but he wasn't sure that she knew he was yet. Tate wasn't interested in going, but Aaron acted like it was going to be the party of the century and pushed him to be there. Aaron also bothered that perhaps Holly ruined Tate's romantic life, but Tate made it clear that he wasn't holding a grudge, though he didn't offer any hints about his secret relationship with her. Soon later, Tate got distracted at the sight of Holly and accidentally hit Sophia in the face with a football. Sophia flipped out over having a shiner for the Hop, but Tate got her some ice and constantly apologized. Although Sophia was angry at first, she ultimately suggested that Tate should go to Hop with her and pushed for answers about whether he'd a date yet. Holly piped up that it was a great idea, so Tate accepted Sophia's assignation. When Holly pitched the idea of Aaron going with her, he snappily got on board. It was decided it'd be a double date, so Tate and Holly changed a look, like they knew they were creating a little ruse so they could sort of go together. Once Sloan Peterson Brady, Jessica Surfety, gave Eric the cold shoulder at home on Wednesday's day's occasion, he left for work. Soon later, Sloan called Melinda Trask, Tina Huang, over and broke the news that drunk Leo Stark, Greg Rickard, revealed the sap to EJ DiMera, Dan Feuereagle, about stolen Jude Brady. Sloan assured Melinda that her name was no way mentioned and that she'd have her back. Melinda still sounded nervous as she guzzled wine, but Sloan refocused out that she induced EJ to keep quiet by revealing Jude's maternity verity. Sloan said she advised EJ to keep his mouth shut for the sake of both their connections, but she was beginning to wonder if everything she'd done to have a family with Eric had been worth it. At the DiMera Manse on Wednesday's DOL show, EJ spoke to Dr. Wilhelm Rolf, Richard Wharton, over the phone and yelled at him to put a rush on the DNA results. Nicole DiMera, Ariane Zucker, eavesdropped and quizzed EJ, so he pretended he just got a little irritable over some DNA substantiation related to a felonious case. Once Nicole joined Eric in the city forecourt, she asked about Sloan and how effects were going with her. Eric admitted his fight with Sloan opened his eyes to the fact that he didn't want to make the same miscalculations in his new relationship. After Eric apologized for his once blunders, Nicole claimed there was no need for that and felt they were both trying to do better in their new loves. Nicole eventually showed Eric some hygiene accoutrements she planned to give out while they were working on their homeless story. When Nicole mentioned living on the thoroughfares formerly upon a time, Eric questioned her about it. Nicole admitted to sleeping in her auto during her Misty Circle days, so Eric was impressed over her adaptability and capability to keep surprising him. Back with EJ, Johnny DiMera, Carson Boatman, commended that Chanel DiMera, Raven Bowens, was pregnant, but he admitted it was a high-threat situation due to the radiation that Paulina Price, Jackie Harry, exposed her son to. Now the baby could be facing serious birth blights, but Johnny refocused out that Chanel was leaning toward keeping it no matter what. EJ claimed it was too parlous to have this baby and suggested there'd be plenitude of time to have kiddies latterly. Johnny refused to tell Chanel what to do with her body and expostulated when EJ said this baby was a Demera first and foremost. After Johnny reminded EJ that their bloodline wasn't perfect, he refused to let his pater talk to him about supergenetics. EJ claimed that's not what he was getting at and managed to calm Johnny down. What Johnny really wanted was a favor, so EJ granted his request to get Chanel in front of the stylish croakers and try to get some answers. That said, EJ prompted Johnny to suppose long and hard about the choices in front of him, about Johnny's marriage and what he demanded along with Chanel. Days of Our Lives spoilers say Chanel and Johnny will have some challenges to navigate, so we bring you prognostications on all the hurdles Rafe's lead proposition, EJ blocks Gabi's freedom, Stefan asks Paulina for help. Days of Our Lives, DOOL, spoilers for the week of May 13th to 17th reveal that Nicole Demera, Ariane Zucker, and Eric Brady, Greg Vaughn, will have a surprise hassle with Leo Stark, Greg Ricard, so he may be a crapulous mess again and unmask some hints. After Sloane Peterson, Brady, Jessica Surfety, and EJ Demera, Dan Feuereagle, make a pact to keep the verity about Jude Brady under wraps, Sloane will cross paths with Leo, and he'll indeed be plastered when that run-in happens. That gives Sloane a chance to rip into Leo for dishing to EJ and giving her another fire to put out. Back with Nicole and Eric, they keep strengthening their bond as they work together on the story Chad Demera, Billy Flynn, assigned to them. Speaking of Chad, he'll stumble across Abigail Demera's, last played by Marcy Miller, old journal while Jada Hunter, Elia Cantu, tells Rafe Hernandez, Galen Gehring, some painful stories regarding her history with Robert Bobby Stein aka Everett Lynch, Blake Barris. Although Everett will partake some nostalgic moments with Stephanie Johnson, Abigail Klein, as they bandy their own history, it presumably wouldn't be long until that Bobby switch flips again and leaves her nonplussed. Next, Marlena Evans, Deidre Hall, will put Brady Black, Eric Martsolf, through a grilling session regarding his passions for Kristen Demera, Stacey Hayduke, and may advise him to avoid falling into her crooked web again. As for Teresa Donovan, Emily O'Brien, DOOL spoilers say she'll tell Alex Kyriakis, Robert Scott Wilson, that she wants to reunite as a couple and will hope he feels the same way. There'll also be some Titan-related drama since Maggie Kyriakis, Suzanne Rogers, will act like Alex is loosening off on his CEO duties. It'll be over to Teresa to keep the peace when Maggie and Alex face off formally again. Other Days spoilers say Xander Cook, Paul Telfer, will plan a scavenger quest for Sarah Horton, Lindsay Godfrey, so she'll love following the trail he leaves for her. It's possible this will lead to an engagement ring discovery, depending on what Xander has in mind. Meanwhile, Kristen will interrogate Ava Vitale, Tamara Braun, as she gathers further information about Lee Shins, Remington Hoffman, Grim Fate as well as Gil Carter's, David's Lee, demise. Rafe, Jada, Kristen, and Stefan Demera, Brandon Barish, will also have a strategy session as they plan to exculpate Gabby Hernandez Demera, last played by Camila Banus. Day spoilers say Rafe will give EJ Demera, Dan Feuereagle, updates on a new proposition about the person who wiped Lee off the chart. It looks like Rafe may point the cutlet at Gil and argue that he was working on Clyde Weston's, James Red, orders. Blood was set up on Gil's black book, so that blood could belong to Lee. Jada will give Steve Johnson, Stephen Nichols, and Kayla Johnson, Mary Beth Evans, news on the rearmost evidence too, so that lead to Steve quizzing Ava about Clyde's implicit position. Although Stefan will push EJ to renew Lee's case, EJ will refuse to budge. Day spoilers say Stefan will ultimately supplicate for Mayor Paulina Price's, Jackie Harry, backing an expedience of going over EJ's head. Eventually, Nicole will do her stylish to fix effects after a fierce fight with Holly Jonas, Ashley Puzimis, but that could be easier said than done. Days of Our Lives spoilers for the week of May 13th to 17th will bring some marvels and showdowns. Stick with us for further prognostications on what's coming up in Salem.